I watched this YouTube video by a very popular YouTuber named Jarvis Johnson, who spent a whole week in the metaverse and was just like, well, this is mostly just filled with screaming children,
right?
Or
Correct.
is completely abandoned,
Yep.
Or it's 3 British men standing in a triangle talking about comedians from when they were 10 years old.
Oh, I didn't run into that one. That was not my experience in the metaverse.
There was a point where he went into one of these comedy clubs and he said, I cannot actually show you most of the jokes that were said because they contain slurs.
Oh, so he's afraid of being canceled for not displaying politically correct comedy.
Well,
huh?
and that's the thing, is that they were like, the mods inside the metaverse will not let me say my jokes. So the joke that he was allowed to show us was that there are more snowflakes in the metaverse than in Antarctica.
Holy shit. Can you say that?
I think I
he was
just
saying
did.
that because the crowd wasn't receptive. He's like, what a bunch of friggin' snowflakes.
Most of the crowd went, yeah, we agree.
So many possible worlds, but we got this one. So many possible worlds, but we got this one.
Welcome to the Worst of All Possible Worlds, the first and only podcast co-hosted by 3 snowflakes. I'm the worst of all possible Joshes.
I'm the worst of all possible AJs.
And I'm the worst of all possible Bryans, and I have 6 identical sides.
Whoa! But you know what?
Yeah.
You're unique. We are here today to talk about the metaverse.
We
And
are.
Josh, this was an episode you wanted to throw together because you felt very passionately about legs.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, right? We have been rejoicing about legs for quite some time
They
here
came.
They
on the
came.
show, and they finally came.
Yeah.
And I finally came at that time as well.
I'm still excited.
Yeah, I'm a leg fetishist.
But I feel like one of the things that happens with our show is that we collect strange pieces of detritus and just integrate them into our shared vocabulary. Obviously, one of those things is the phrase, legs are coming soon. Are you excited?
Yeah, technically that's like 2 phrases.
Oh my God.
And like the video that premiered that, it was a psyop.
Yes.
Yeah, the way that this phrase was introduced to us was through
I
illicit
feel like
means.
a psyop requires a certain degree of finesse and sophistication. This was just a lie. They just
true.
They
lied.
did come eventually. They weren't lying.
They lied about what the legs could do.
That's
but
true, they did.
Yeah.
We're doing Facebook again. This is
Yeah.
our 2nd episode about Facebook as a platform. I guess 3rd about Facebook as a topic.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
we talked about The Social Network, the Aaron Sorkin movie.
And this is also following up sort of in our coverage of internet culture and community in the way that we communicate through internet platforms, as we also talked about in our episode about apology videos.
That's right.
And some of this is also going to tie into some of the stuff that we talked about in our episode about NFTs as well.
Absolutely.
Yep, because it was the style at the time
It was.
to make a metaverse with NFTs.
I'm honestly surprised. Maybe if the metaverse had lived longer, we would have seen Shrimp Jesus in the metaverse.
Now there's a thought.
I know that it was sort of overrun with AI, but not in quite the way that Facebook was.
No, because it wasn't about posts. It was about like apps,
Yeah, and-
activities.
and worlds, about
Worlds.
building virtual 3D worlds that you can hang out in.
Yes.
that you can meta your horizons in.
Yeah, ideally.
And apparently from the footage that I've seen, just scream slurs at each
Yeah,
other.
there's a lot of that. There's
Yeah,
a lot of that.
Some of them are adults screaming the slurs.
Most of them
Yeah.
are children, though.
Most of them are very
most of them are
small,
children.
high-voiced, shrill little boys.
From like one of the largest social media companies
Yeah.
in this country to have
One of the
made-
largest companies, period.
Right, to have made this multi-billion-dollar investment into what is clearly a thing that does not work
Right.
and was never going to
and
work.
that no one is enticed by and no one wants, right? He made something by accident, thefacebook.com, that people wanted to be a part of. And it was partly because it resembled a few other things that were developing at the time, like MySpace. But Mark Zuckerberg did not develop the Facebook to take over the whole world.
Right.
He developed it to make Facebook.
Yeah.
And he did. And then as he gained more coverage of the entire internet, it was because he was buying shit.
Yes. and-
Instagram, I own it now.
Exactly. WhatsApp, I own it now. And bringing people on board who were able to help him scale this operation. It was not his brilliant idea that just sort of like took off and immediately took over the world. But I think that when you're in a position like Mark Zuckerberg, which is to say one of the wealthiest people in the world, who has basically no relationship whatsoever to what's happening on the ground anymore, you're going to develop delusions. And I think today's story is a story of delusion. But before we get into that, I am curious from both of you right now. When did you hear about Mark Zuckerberg's idea for the metaverse for the first time? I'm assuming this was like a pandemic special, right?
No, it was you. It was you saying legs are coming soon. Are you excited?
Really?
Yeah, genuinely.
It already existed at that point.
It did already exist, but I was so checked out from Facebook at that point that I genuinely had never heard of this. I think I had seen him post the selfie with his avatar.
Yes.
I did not realize that was part of a larger online project. I just thought they were like trying to bring new avatars in the way that Xbox 360 brought their avatars.
You're talking about the infamous one where he looks like a small child and he's standing in front of a very poor rendering of the Eiffel Tower and the Sagrada Familia.
Yes,
right?
and that will also be the cover art for this episode.
And you make a good point because it does remind me so much. I have thought the same thing about the Xbox Live avatars.
Yes.
And these look worse than that. They're somewhere in between the Xbox Live avatar and the Me in terms of what they're able to deliver graphically.
By the way, on the topic of Xbox, can I just be the first one to say, Happy Easter, Xbox?
Yes, you can.
Just kidding. I wasn't the first. Usher was the first.
Happy Easter, Xbox.
You know, there is a commonality in that Xbox back in the 360 days produced a lot of like weird television shows and stuff that just aired on Xbox Live that are now just in the ether.
Well, PlayStation did too. I almost wrote for one of those shows.
Oh, that's right. And PlayStation also had Home, which is a very similar platform to what Horizon Worlds was. I think I was aware of Facebook's, quote, metaverse thing. I don't think I knew about them necessarily using that term, although going back and reading some articles, people were using that term in the 2010s for their VR shit. But I was aware of Spaces. Facebook Spaces. Facebook Spaces was this attempt by Facebook to make a sort of hybrid VR and app experience that you could hang out with your friends, some of whom were on their phone doing video calls, some of whom were wearing an Oculus headset. And I had been kind of following the Oculus saga for a while because this was like the really big promise of a VR device that's going to be somewhat affordable.
Yeah, and for my part, I was not like on the Oculus bandwagon exactly, but I have always been kind of interested in VR. Sure. When I was a kid, I went to Disney Quest in Chicago. Did either of you ever go to Disney Quest, either in Chicago or at Walt Disney World?
No, we were in Orlando and Disney Quest was around a couple of times, and I always wanted to go, but no one else in my family wanted to because they were like, we already bought tickets for the regular part.
You missed out on some truly immersive VR experiences.
I actually worked with someone who helped develop Disney Quest.
Really?
A number of years later on a VR theatrical piece in 2018.
Okay. Whenabouts was Disney Quest in its prime?
Like 99, 2000?
Okay.
Yeah. It was going to be a separate thing that was basically an all indoors amusement park / VR arcade thing.
Mostly VR because the idea
was going to be in Chicago. It was going to be in like Toronto or Montreal.
Yeah.
It was going to be in all these cities and then it bombed.
Because during sort of the late 90s, early 2000s, I feel like that was the first big push for VR. It was the idea that there are limitations of the physical world, obviously. I cannot build a roller coaster inside of a building in Chicago. But what I can do is I can build a VR experience where you put a headset on and you ride a roller coaster in a building in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yes, and you can have a whole bunch of children vomiting. From motion sickness of having to wear these goddamn headsets.
That's right.
And not everything was headset based at Disney Quest because I think that at least one of the roller coasters ideas you actually got in a simulator.
Yes,
that would rock and everything.
It was there was one that was like a paddling thing where you were on like a raft and you made these little paddles and there was a projection in front of you showing what was going on.
And I remember playing a VR game at an arcade somewhere that was like this big visor on like a fucking crane arm that you'd lower down onto your head.
That's what the headsets at Disney Quest were
stuff.
like. Yeah.
Right, but that's what you needed. You had a lot of wiring, you had a lot of heavy equipment, and it needed to be tethered to something both for processing power and for power.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the dream then, sort of starting, I think, with a lot of this and the stuff that we saw in the 90s and 2000s was, an all-in-one virtual reality headset that you could just sort of strap on your head and start playing games immediately.
At your home. In a small, confined space for only a few $100s, the same price as like a console.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, the original Oculus was not designed as a standalone piece. That was something you hooked up to your computer.
Right.
It didn't have any tracking on the visor itself. So you also had to set up a constellation of devices around the room. They were just literally called the constellation.
And it was a thing for like hackers and tinkerers, right?
Yeah.
And the guy who brought this whole idea to reality was a man named Palmer Luckey. This guy is a tinkerer, virtual reality obsessive from Long Beach, California, born in 1992.
Yeah, he's a boy genius sort.
Palmer Lucky. I hardly know her, Lucky.
That's so true.
I could have saved a lot of money had I known that.
So in 2009, Palmer Luckey creates this web forum. It's called Mod Retro. And honestly, I am surprised I never posted here. This is the kind of place that I would have been hanging out. And I think if it had come along just a few years earlier, I might have been there.
Sure, yeah.
The gist of this site, Mod Retro, is it's a place for like hackers, handheld gaming enthusiasts, people who are trying to hack together their own bespoke game console of some sort, particularly with a focus on virtual reality. And Palmer Luckey himself is like repurposing all of this old tech. He's getting his hands on old prototypes of stuff that never actually shipped.
Yeah.
He wants to push the state of VR forward, and he is using this forum as a resource to make those dreams a reality.
This guy sounds really cool.
Well,
in
a way.
Josh, I will say, I wouldn't beat yourself up too much, right? You were in college at that point.
I would just be a freshman in college.
Just run
or
around
sophomore.
palming Lucky left and right.
Yeah. But within this community, Mod Retro, all of a sudden, the possibility of this real, honest-to-goodness portable VR headset starts to emerge. And in April 2012, Palmer Luckey throws together a Kickstarter for something that he calls the Oculus Rift. You can actually still go look at the page now. The Kickstarter is still up.
Oh, wow.
It bills itself as the first truly immersive virtual reality headset for video games. And wouldn't you know it, this prototype gets the attention of a certain man known as John Carmack.
Ah, the other John.
Wait, who's the first one?
Who's the first John?
Romero.
Oh, yeah, right, of course.
Yes, the guy from id, who's not the worst guy from id, but also not the best guy from id.
Yeah.
John Carmack will not make me his bitch.
No, that was John Romero.
No, he absolutely won't. No, he'll try, and he'll fail.
He'll also reach out to Palmer Luckey over the Mod Retro forums to be
shit.
Hey kid, I see what you're doing. It looks pretty cool. I'm the guy who made Doom and Wolfenstein 3D.
Yeah.
Could I try it out for a little bit? And Palmer Luckey, rather than saying, yeah, you can take it on loan, says, you can just have it.
No, Palmer!
And as a result, John Carmack at E3 2012 demos the Doom 3 BFG edition, the like final remaster of Doom 3.
Yeah, the one where you can hold a flashlight and a gun at the same time.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's on the headset in front of all these people, and he's like, this is real technology, and it can be yours if you back this Kickstarter.
And Carmack, at this point, then, is in deep with Oculus. He actually later ends up becoming the CTO. And this pours fuel on the fire for that Kickstarter, right?
Yeah.
The Rift blows past its goal. It ends up raising over $2.4 million eventually.
Holy
and
shit.
At this point, Oculus is off to the races.
Lucky at this point is like very popular on the internet, too.
Yes.
Here is a very cool guy who just wants to make a very cool thing for everyone to bring the industry forward.
And he's a wunderkind, right? He's 20
and
years
he's supported by us. He's one of us.
Right. He's a real nerd.
All
real
he
gamer
needed
girl.
was $2 million to mass produce a VR headset.
Yeah.
And also the backing of one of the most influential figures in the entire video game industry.
Yeah.
I just find that if you are going to be making a VR headset, I would not call it something that kind of sounds like it's going to stab you in the eyes and create perhaps an ocular rift. Like, I don't...
I hadn't thought about that.
My company, Detached, is going to release its new device, Retina. The Detached Retina.
It's like...
My company, Orbular, is offering the Fracture.
My company is called We Will Blind You. We do not have a VR headset. I just have a small dark room behind this door where I will blind you.
Just wait until you hear what Palmer Luckey's been up to lately. But
he sounded We Have a Knife Industries.
He kind of did.
Bigger than a knife.
Before we get there, we should talk about then how Oculus comes under the auspices of Facebook.
Yeah.
Because in December 2013, Andreessen Horowitz, one of the biggest venture capital firms in tech, leads a Series B round for Oculus. They raised $75 million.
Okay, that's a lot more than $2 million.
It's a chunk of change.
I'm starting to think that Palmer Luckey is not going to feel indebted to his fans, the gamers. Maybe he's not one of us anymore.
You know, it's interesting, right? Particularly once you have Mark Andreessen on the board of your corporation, your incentives start to shift a little bit.
And also, there's no universe where you're ever going to deliver a VR headset after making $2 million.
No, God,
that is not any amount of money at all for mass production.
I can't even imagine.
And so that's the thing, right? Is they need more money. They need sort of a backstop. And now their investors are also seeking an exit. And that happens literally 3 months later.
Oh my God.
In March of 2014, Facebook acquires Oculus for $2 billion
Yep.
in a cash and stock deal.
Yeah, $400 million cash, the rest of it stock and some vested whatevers.
And so Oculus then gets folded into Facebook. It still remains at this time under the leadership of Palmer Luckey.
Yeah. If I were Palmer Luckey at this point, you would never hear from me again. I would simply vanish off the face of the planet.
Yeah, but that's the thing is he's gotten his first big exit, and you have to think about how this stuff works.
What, 22 or some shit? Like he's
22,
he is a tiny baby boy who has not gone to college. This was his college.
He hasn't even palmed a Lucky yet.
No.
You're damn right about that. And it's his dream too, right? Like his dream is to be making these headsets, and now
never wear shoes. Ever.
What do you mean?
I mean exactly what I said. That man's got his dogs out every minute of every day.
The Baja Men. They've finally been proven right. We know the answer to the immortal question.
But like, I don't know, AJ, imagine that you, started up a theater company that got acquired by Facebook for $2 billion.
Yes.
You'd keep making theater, right?
I sure would, but you wouldn't hear from me.
Well, that's the difference between you and Palmer.
I'd be making shit with no publicity. It would be I would love to live on the theater dole.
I would
of just making, just producing 100-year-old Swiss plays and shit.
I would pay.
That's my dream. That's literally my dream.
I would pay Willem Dafoe $3.5 million to just stand in the town square of some small town in America and do the entirety of Dostoevsky's The Idiot. That is what I would do with my millions.
Such a good idea.
Thank you.
I was staring at Holbein's Dead Christ. And the thing is, it robs the Christ of all of his power,
Is this Christopher Walken?
I think this is Walken, yeah.
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 That was good. It was a good Walken. I just thought you might have been doing Willem Dafoe, and I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
It was either a really good Christopher Walken or a really bad Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
But yeah, to the point of Palmer Luckey not shutting the fuck up, he ends up getting embroiled in two different scandals. The first one is that he gave money to an organization that supported Donald Trump. And this was still back when in tech, you didn't support Republicans.
No.
Oh, sure.
Not only gave money, but was essentially the founder.
He was providing
of
some
the
sort of material
organization,
support. Yeah.
And people found this Reddit account that absolutely was his.
Although he still claims to this day it wasn't him.
Yeah. It's to the point where even a lot of the outlets that reported on it did not say allegedly or anything like that. They said it was his Reddit account.
Wow.
And it was, what was it called? Nimble?
Nimble Rich Man.
Nimble Rich Man was the account, and the organization.
Nimble was a rich man.
And the organization. And the organization was called Nimble America. This is a very online, very far-right 2016 Trump thing.
So AJ,
they called themselves centipedes and they called themselves nimble navigators.
What?
And this was not, this was not the face of an ordinary Republican who was going to vote for Trump. This was of just complete disgusting frog avatar perverts.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So these are like Pepe's before Pepe's, basically.
Yeah, Pepe's before Groypers.
Yeah. So AJ,
Coco before Chanel.
I would love for you to read here this post that Palmer Luckey made on September 23, 2016.
I'm deeply sorry that my actions are negatively impacting the perception of Oculus and its partners. The recent news story about me do not accurately represent my views. Here's more background. I contributed $10,000 to Nimble America because I thought the organization had fresh ideas on how to communicate with young voters through the use of several billboards.
Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Yeah.
Oh, God. I am a libertarian, oh, fuck me, who has publicly supported Ron Paul and Gary Johnson in the past. Sir. And I plan on voting for Gary in this election as well.
What the fuck are you talking? You started a Trump group. And you're like, and I'm going to vote for Gary. Yeah.
I am committed to the principles of fair play and equal treatment. I did not write the, quote, nimble rich man posts, nor did I delete the account. Reports that I am a founder or employee of Nimble America are false. I'm so clumsy. I don't have any plans to donate. Sorry, that was editorialized. That was me.
You're not wrong.
I don't have any plans to donate beyond what I have already given to Nimble America. Still, my actions were my own and do not represent Oculus. I'm sorry for the impact my actions are having on the community.
So that is a post he made on Facebook.
Also, you know who broke this story about him being the Nimble guy?
Ooh.
Ben Collins.
Ben Collins
current
of
CEO of The Onion.
That's great.
Oh, that's incredible.
When he was over at the Daily Beast.
So a lot of people were talking about this, and it was a small scandal, but like this is not why Zuck got rid of him. The reason Zuck got rid of him is that, you know, we had talked about how early on Palmer Luckey was working with John Carmack to sort of get Oculus up and running, and it turns out that John Carmack was under a pretty strict non-disclosure agreement with id Software, his then employer, which fell under the auspices of ZeniMax Media.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so ZeniMax then, once they saw what had happened, and especially they saw this fucking acquisition, they were like, hey, wait a minute. You used some proprietary information and code that you originally developed at id, and you brought that code with you over to Oculus.
Oh,
this was also he was in the process of suing ZeniMax already. So this is a tangled web of legal shit.
But the thing is, the courts ended up in a jury trial finding Oculus liable.
Fuck.
And ZeniMax was awarded $500 million in civil damages.
Well,
and this is the year that the Rift was released.
Right.
Like it came out in spring of 2016. Again, not as a standalone device. It didn't even have its own controllers yet. You used like an Xbox gamepad or whatever you felt like using with your PC, and you could play Crysis or whatever with this thing hooked up. Oculus had already developed VR tech before the Facebook acquisition was final, so they had a deal with Samsung. Oh, which was one of the first like phone VR things where you got a pair of goggles
right. I forgot about those.
Stuck onto your Samsung Galaxy, and that was called, I think, Oculus Gear.
Right.
And so you could use your Oculus
Gear.
But this, I mean, Oculus was the single thing that propelled VR to being what it is. The HTC Vive, PSVR, all this stuff comes out in 2016
these
as
are
well.
All Rift knockoffs.
Yeah,
I cannot believe you just rattled that off of the dome. Like you have an encyclopedic knowledge of VR headsets.
I named like two things. I said the Vive and PSVR.
That is two more than I could have
that
ever
and the
named.
Valve Index are like the three
but
others.
the Index isn't there yet.
Right.
Also, I worked with some VR stuff. I said this. I did that
That's
theater
right,
thing.
yeah.
We were working with various VR headsets, and some of them were that cell phone type thing, and some of them were dedicated headsets. Some of them needed a backpack to have power run and everything.
Wow.
So you'd wear this whole thing strapped onto your body. How quickly we forget what VR used to be.
And I think that's something that I did want to note here, just about VR generally.
Yeah.
In order for a VR headset to work as a standalone piece of hardware, you have to pack an unbelievable amount of shit into it.
Sure.
And it is only because of the increased advances in miniaturization technology that you're even able to get transistors that are small enough to fit into this form factor.
Well, here's the thing, is that Moore's Law continues to be 100% true.
I've got bad news for you on that one.
Oh, no! Mr. Moore!
Hey, Jerry, you familiar with this at all?
I am not familiar with Moore's Law.
Okay, so the idea of Moore's Law is that transistors will continue to shrink at roughly the same rate doubling or halving, I guess, in size. Like every
They get smaller and they get cheaper at a regular interval.
Exactly.
basically.
I see.
And
I see.
This has stopped being true.
due to the limitations of physics.
What?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because you start running up against like atoms.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Josh. I think you failed to consider something called quantum computing,
Oh, shut the fuck up.
which is very much a
It's
real thing.
Yeah, it's real.
Yes.
It's my
and not
friends.
fake.
Like the reason that it's called Moore's law is not that it's a law in the sense of like physics.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's just what was happening, and it ended up becoming the trajectory that semiconductor manufacturers set their development process to.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was largely correct for a very long time.
Yeah.
And now it has stopped.
So where
Turns out things are not going to get cheaper forever anymore.
And things
Yeah,
can't get
cheaper,
smaller
yeah.
at some point. You literally can't make it any smaller than it already
Quantum
is.
computing, Josh.
Shut up.
It's on the Planck level.
they're gonna put a quantum computer in your Ray-Bans, Josh.
No!
You're gonna look so cool.
You kind of became Christopher Lloyd there. Marty, they're going to put quantum computers in your Ray-Bans, Marty. It's not your Ray-Bans, it's your kids' Ray-Bans.
Oh no.
I got this fax.
I found these Ray-Bans up on the clock tower, Marty.
What's the matter, Doc? Are my glasses going to become assholes or something?
No, you're going to become an asshole because you're wearing them, Marty.
You're a pervert, Marty. You're going into the Mervins, Marty. You're wearing the red bands, Marty. I'm turning into Nixon.
Yeah, that's pretty stop. It's pretty good.
That's okay. I can't tell the difference between Willem Dafoe and Christopher Walken.
No!
Hi there. You've been listening to a preview of a premium episode of The Worst of All Possible Worlds. To get access to this episode and over 100 more full-length premium episodes, head over to patreon.com/worstofall. For $5 a month, you get access to our entire back catalog, and for $10 a month, you'll get an extra episode of the show every month. And we usually record that one on video. Again, that's patreon.com/worstofall. Hope to see you there.